Guys, I am finally done farming for Shorekeeper, and this time I mean it for real for real. My Shorekeeper build is finally complete. If there was anything I ever needed to change in the future, it would definitely be the cost for Echo, assuming that the cost for Echo can be of the Spectro Celestial Light set. But if it's not of the Celestial Light set and it's of Rejuvenated Glow, you best believe I'm not going to change your build whatsoever. Now, let's hop over into the actual build, and I'll give reasons as to why I met specific breakpoints and everything you need to know. And we'll go over the updated version of Shorekeeper, because I did make a video on Shorekeeper a while back, and that was the outdated version. Now, obviously, at her core, Shorekeeper is a Verina. A better Verina, maybe for some characters, but overall, just a Verina, right? Now, the reason why I say a better Verina for some teams is because there is a few things you must take into consideration. The very first thing is that, as of right now, Withering Waves, we don't have any dedicated attack buffers. You know, in Genshin Impact, we have Bennett. He buffs your attack and he buffs your, not buffs your healing. He gives you healing, but he also buffs your pyro if you have him C6, whatever. We don't have any character on that same multitude. I mean, we do have Echo sets that does give attack to the team, but we also do have that one set, Noblesse, that gives even further attack after using your ultimate. So it's not really a fair comparison. Well, there is no dedicated healer that buffs your attack as well. Instead, we have characters giving some attack buffs, but they're not giving attack buffs that scale off of their own attack. I think is it this one? It's not this one. Which one is it? It's this one here. You give a 20% attack increase to the team after using the outro skill, which is really good, mind you, because it lasts for a very long time. 20 seconds is good enough for both your sub DPS and your main DPS to take advantage of the attack percent for their full rotations. I think this one thing right here, the long duration of buffs, is going to make Verina a staple in Withering Waves forever. Forever. It's so good that her buffs last as long as they do. And some lasting even longer, right? 15% damage increase for 30 seconds. But we're talking about attack percentage here. And aside from Rejuvenated Glow and the outro skill giving attack percent, you're giving 35% attack to the team, which is really good. That's why having a character like Verina in your team matters a lot, especially when you are tackling content such as the Tower Adversity. Because again, we don't have very many, if any, attack buffers in the game. And while that goes without saying, your attack on a lot of your characters are really low, especially if you are a player that does not religiously farm echoes. Now, what's very important about that is that having echoes with attack percentage is a game changer, right? If you have attack percentage across all your echoes, and let's say you have an average of 9 to 10%, you have 45 to 50% extra attack being given to your character. And again, this is if you are someone who religiously farms echoes. And it's very hard to get those specific substats on your echoes. I 100% understand. So that's where the value of characters like Verina and Shorekeeper comes into play. The thing is, though, is that Verina gives more attack than Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper only gives the attack from Rejuvenated Glow set. And if you don't have Rejuvenated Glow on Shorekeeper, you're not giving any attack to your teammates, which does matter a lot. So that's the main difference between both of these two characters. Other than that, Shorekeeper is a character that does help you with mitigating damage and helping your overall damage on characters like Jinsei, because again, it allows you to play the game with your brain off, because Jinsei is one of those characters where you want to shove her damage out as fast as you can. And if you're playing against specific bosses that have delayed attacks, or bosses that have very long animations, very long attack sequences, it gets really annoying, especially when you're trying to just shove out your elemental skill and then swap off to the next character. Well, Shorekeeper helps alleviate that, whereas Verina kind of just makes you face tank it, and it is what it is, right? If you get hit, you get hit. If you don't get hit, you better hope that the enemy does have a attack you can dodge in that attack window. Now, I'm getting beside myself here. What about the Shorekeeper build, right? That was just me going over the difference between two characters, right? Now, if we take a look at my Shorekeeper current build, right? I have 138 energy regen. Now, if we take a look at variation, it gives 51.8% energy regen. I have it at level 50 right now because I've been, again, religiously farming echoes. So I haven't been looking to invest into anything else other than echoes. And, well, it's pretty much as good as it's going to get. Now, we take the 51.8% and then we add it to the 138. That is going to bring this to 190%. And that means 190 plus the 10% energy regen Shorekeeper gets in her kit for free is going to put me at 200% energy regen, which will allow me to comfortably get her ultimate during rotations, and is still going to allow me to give buffs to the team. Now, here's where Shorekeeper is different than what I previously said in the Shorekeeper build guide or whatever. Not really a guide, but just, me explaining the kit of the character. She gives crit rate on top of crit damage now. Now, before, she used to just give crit rate, which was nice. But now she gives further buffs with more crit damage to the team. And remember, too, those buffs Shorekeeper is giving to the team counts for her build as well. So it helps making Shorekeeper a DPS a lot easier, because you're giving the character crit rate and crit damage. So she gives 12.5% crit rate. Now, obviously, with me having 200% energy regen, you need 250% to maximize her buffs. I have 200% energy regen, so that means I'm only getting 10% crit rate. And as for the crit damage, I didn't really look too far into it, but I would imagine I get around 20% crit damage, which is good enough for me, because again, I wanted to get as close to 80% as possible while maximizing the other echoes I have on the character. And again, this is just for my specific build. Now, if we go further into the build itself, you'll see that I changed back to a 4-3-3 build. And the reason why is because I want to maximize her spectral damage. Now, obviously, since I'm going this here, I am losing out on another HP cost 1, which means I have less healing overall, and I do suffer from the character having less overall HP, which will make her a little more dangerous compared to the previous build where you go full tank, or you go, triple HP and then crit damage, or crit rate, right? Also, one more thing to take into consideration with Shorekeeper's build overall. Aside from the crit she does give, right, which is new now, she doesn't really give any way of getting crit rate, no sources of crit rate, right? I mean, if we take a look at the weapons she can use, variation gives energy regen on the main stat, and so does her for her 5-star weapon. Well, that's pretty much all there is to it. And if you were to use a different rectifier in the character, you may end up losing out on just giving that extra crit rate, crit damage to the team. Because remember, she is still a support at her core. She's not going to be the character that is taking over as much field time as Jinsei, although these two characters will be very nice to pair alongside each other. Especially if you are someone who is lacking in consistency in their crit stats for the character, right? Very, very, very nice. But she's not going to be on the field as long as Jinsei. So overall, I'm just looking for the character to give the buffs, and I do want her to maximize her damage when she is getting into the field and using her discernment when you go from the enlightenment to the discernment, right? After having her ultimate and then doing the intro and outro scope. That also means that you want to look for Resonance Liberation damage, because that is where most of her damage is going to come from. And I do have a few Resonance Liberation, just 2 right now. And these are my 2 best echoes. Pretty much every stat I would want in the character. Now, this was before she did receive a change, and previously Resonance Skill damage was very nice on the character. Now is Resonance Liberation damage. Again, welcome to the beta. Things do change. Now, with that being said, I had to farm for more echoes, and I was going to give an updated build guide, or not updated guide, but an updated build in a previous video. Like I said in the last video yesterday, I was going to upload the video you're watching now like 2 days ago, but I wanted to give more farming to the character. And again, aside from maybe changing the cost for Echo, if it ends up being Spectral set, I think I'm pretty much just good to go. I wanted to have as close to 80% crit rate, 200% energy regen, and then have some Resonance Liberation damage to maximize the damage bonuses she does have going towards her main source of damage. If I can get Resonance Liberation damage on the last 3 pieces, I'm chilling. But the only thing I'm looking forward to in Withering Waves at some point would just be able to change substats on your echoes. If you're able to change a specific substat with a piece of equipment, then we're chilling, because I'll change these to Resonance Liberation damage, and all of a sudden I go from having 20% Resonance Liberation to 50% Resonance Liberation, and that is going to maximize her damage window. That's it. That is the build, updated build. I'm finally done farming. I can say that after farming for like 3 weeks now, probably longer, to be honest, because I've been farming ever since she was drip teased and revealed through I do not condone you farming for DPS Shorekeeper. Is it worth it? I think it's only worth it if you do understand that you are losing out on some crit rate and crit damage being given to the team. Like, again, you're losing out on what, 2.5% crit rate to your allies, which is nothing. Let's be brutally honest. And you're losing on like 5% crit damage to your allies as well, which again, let's be brutally honest here, is like nothing. But what you also do lose out on is a ton of wave plates, which is this game's version of stamina, energy, right, source, that you won't ever be able to get back. But at the very least, you can say you put in all of your effort and you dedicated your farming to the one, the only, the wife. I don't know what I'm saying here. She is wife, right? I mean, I made the post, and I think most of you did agree with me. But that's it. That's the video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We're finally done. I will, of course, be assisting Shorekeeper on her debut banner, so look forward to that. I'll probably stream it too on Twitch. I'm planning on making a brand new Twitch just to have a new fresh start and all that jazz. And yeah, we'll do Shorekeeper pulls in there. Maybe I'll do it on YouTube. We'll see. I'll let you all know, though, a day or two in advance. That's it. Bye-bye. I'm done.